Hi, warriors and market addicts like me. How's everyone doing today? I want to talk about an update that we're getting near an inflection point in the dollar. You go back to my videos earlier in the month, even prior to us getting to 107.50, that was my buy point. Wasn't perfect, but anytime you're within 100 pips of a turning point, you have to consider that to be a pretty good work. So I was talking 111 down here, and here we are. We're very close to the 111 area. We're about 26 pips away. It could stretch. We have some divergence, but there's some pretty good momentum. But the reason I want to do this today is that I do think that we are getting closer and closer to a downside level that I talked about in the dollar for over a month now. Okay, so it's the par 90 level. And why is that important? Is if you look left, we had a false breakout underneath it. We had two lows that held it. So, my best guess is this is going to end up being the end of this whole first wave down. It's not only the price, but how it gets there. If we do it, if a market declines like this, you're not going to get divergences because of the power and directionality and it being a breakdown day. You don't look for reversals. But now we're starting to get a little two-sided action and we're approaching this level. So I think we'll get some type of low in the dollar between now and the first or second week in the new year. Looks like it wants to do it sooner rather than later. And then I'm expecting a pretty good bounce. I'm a fib retracement from 107.40 to here that we could possibly even see the same levels or close to the same levels that we just had when the euro was trading 107 and a half. Okay, so I also talked about the Aussie. That was another one I gave you a pretty good level on to get long, and it wasn't that long ago. We were trading at the 65.20 level and I was looking for 68. We've surpassed that already. We could stretch to 68 and a half. And also Canada, when I kept talking about how weak Canada was, and I was saying 132 when people thought that was an aggressive call. But once we broke down under 135, 132, maybe we're going to go for 31. But after we get a bottom here, I wouldn't be surprised to see a rally back towards 34, 35 on the next correction in the dollar. So with the dollar being weak, gold's holding. Last week I talked about 2070. We're still there. I do believe that if I'm correct on the forecast of a dollar bottom coming in here in the next week or so, and maybe something like a 400-point rally in the Dixie, that it should have some impact on the metals to create better buying opportunities. I just want to cover WTI because there was some news on cooperation between eternal enemies, the Iraqis and Iranians, as far as producing together. And this is a real big level here. I pointed it out here. So if we start taking out 77 and a half, something else is happening in crude. Let me just move back to silver's been underperforming. Gold's up a buck 30, silver's down 11. And we have a real big test coming up here in the gold silver ratio. So, we've been knocking at the door of this 87.50 level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would think that if we got up there again, that the result of resistance being tested this many times has weakened the resistance level, and perhaps we get a breakout. If that happens and we break out over 88, that's going to be negative for the bull market temporarily. You still could have them going up, but you want silver to lead in a pure bull market in the precious metals, and this would say gold is. On the other hand, if we take out 77, you got to own the white stuff. and the white stuff is platinum. Platinum's beginning to outperform gold, so something else I talked about. Just want to update everyone on Apple. I mean, even though the market is blowing off, S&P's very close to all-time highs, down a little bit today, but Apple's had some negative fundamental news about not being able to sell their iWatch over a patent infringement. Biden administration didn't bail them out. So I was talking about the weekly divergences and the daily divergences, and we had a 2-week reversal last week. So I asked myself, since I identified Apple as a weakness, if it couldn't perform with the S&Ps doing this, right? This, what's going to happen if we do get a correction? I know a lot of people are talking 4,900. Just something to pay attention to. I would not be putting new money to work in Apple, because if we take out this support here, the 4-hour 50 is giving way, then we could see 187, 85, and 180. Under 180, there's problems in Apple. So if you're a long-term holder, you may want to take some off the table and have your stops under 180. Who knows what could happen there? We could see these lows tested again. And let's see, what do I want to wrap it up with? I think it's going to be important to see what happens with the yen. The yen has not been following through. My bias is that, that this is just a 2 drive to the bottom, and there could be another drive setting up. So it's an I don't know, and it's okay to say I don't know. That means that there's really no trade for you there, instead of trying to create one out of thin air. So we're getting more weakness in yields. I don't think there's more than another 20 bips in it. We'll see what happens there. And still waiting to add on miners. And they're kind of diverging up here at the highs. You see a little 1, 2, 3 in Newmont. I want to see what happens into the new year. There's a major cycle that says the lows in miners happen in 24. And the big years are 25, 26. So, and here's GDX waiting for pullbacks there as well. Orla, which I've been talking about, perhaps we're going to pull back to $3 early next year. That may be a nice entry. And still trying to be patient on the dark horse. We'll see if it holds here or we get one more flush on Endeavor. And then my favorite is Fortuna, and I still think I'm going to have a chance, maybe all the way down here at 320 sometime in the next month or so, to be a buyer there. So if I don't talk to you again, I'll be here with Mike tomorrow. But have a happy new year. Make your plans for how you're going to improve. I'll give you one suggestion for how you can improve in 2024. Surround yourself with traders better than you. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Happy New Year, everyone. See you in the room. Adios.